Now you have a quadratic equation, have m squared plus m equal to 5. When you see a question like this, what's the first thing you do? Well, the first thing you do is to think of how to eliminate the fraction. And to do that, we know that the LCM is 2, so we'll multiply each term by the LCM. And if you do that, you're going to have this plus 2 multiply m equals to 2 multiply 5. So this 2 will cancel out, and you're left with m squared plus 2m equal to 10. You could rearrange the equation to be plus 2m minus 10 equal to 0. So you now have your quadratic equation in the simple term you want it to be. Now recall that in solving quadratic equation, there are different methods. You have factorization method, completing the square, the use of the quadratic formula. But in this particular question, you cannot factorize. If you want to factorize, it's going to be impossible. So what do? So I decide to use completing the square method. So using completing the square method, this is what I'm going to have. M squared plus 2m equal to, so let the minus 10 go back to its position, equal to 10. The next step, you're going to add half the coefficient of m to both sides and you square it. So this is m squared plus 2m plus half of the coefficient of m is 1. Half of 2 is 1. So you square it, add it to both sides. So this is 10 plus 1 squared. This is m plus 1 all squared. So this one is this one. This m is this m all squared. You see, if you expand this, you're going to get this back. That's one thing with the completed square method. And this becomes 10 plus 1. 1 square is 1. So this is m plus 1 all squared equal to 11. So how do you take the square from here? You take the square root of the other side and introduce your plus or minus. So the value of m is equal to minus 1 when plus 1 move to the right hand side of the equation, plus or minus root 11. So here we have the solution to our quadratic equation. M is minus 1 plus root 11 or minus 1 minus root 11. So this is the answer to the question. Now this is another quadratic equation. When you're looking at it, you'll be thinking it's a linear equation, but it's not. If you have a question like this, the first step is to cross multiply. Now the cross multiplication is you use the denominator of the left hand side to multiply the numerator of the right hand side of the equation, and use the denominator of the right hand side of the equation to multiply the numerator of the left hand side of the equation. So I'm going to have this x multiplying x minus 2. And this is equal to, so there will be no need for me to write a 4 here. So sorry about this. The 4 will go and multiply x plus 2. Okay, so my cross multiplication is achieved. That is it. So that's 4 multiply this, the x multiply this. So we can expand to the x squared minus 2x, and this is 4x plus 8. So let's rearrange our equation. X squared minus 2x, and this will become minus 4x. When it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes negative 4x and equal to 8. x squared minus, this will give you 6x equal to 8. Now, there's a reason why I left 8 at the right-hand side of the equation. Because if I take it to the left-hand side of the equation, I may be wanting to use factorization method. But I realized that I cannot use factorization method in solving the question. So when you cannot use factorization method, then completing the square method should come to mind, or quadratic formula. But again, I'm going to stick to completing the square method so that you get used to how to use that method in solving quadratic equation. So what do you do next? Recall, you write x squared minus 6x, add half of the coefficient of x. Half of 6 is 3. Square it, add it to both sides. That's it. That's how to apply the method. But ensure the coefficient here is 1. So the coefficient here has always been 1. And so it's easier for us to go on to solve it like this way. This is x, this x, this is 3. But we're going to take this sign that is here, minus, and write it 3, and open a bracket and squared. If you expand this bracket, you're getting this expression back. And this is equal to 8 plus 3 squared, it's 9. So this is x minus 3 all squared equal to 8 plus 9. And that gives you 17. X minus 3 will be, to take away the square from here, you introduce your plus or minus square root symbol, 17. And finally, you're having, when minus 3 cross the equal to sign, plus 3 plus or minus root 17. And that is the answer to the question. This is an interesting question. If m plus 1 and m minus 3 are factors of m squared minus km plus c, find the values of k and c. Well, it's an interesting question. What we'll do, since they are factors, m plus 1 and m minus 3, we're going to multiply them. So when you do, you're going to have m times m squared, m times minus 3, minus 3m, 1 times m plus m, and 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. And this will give you m squared minus 3m plus m will give you minus 2m minus 3. So that's the expansion. So what's the next thing to do now? Is to get a value for k and c. See, if you compare the two expressions, what are the two expressions now? This, which is given in the question, and this. In other words, m squared minus 2m minus 3, it's n squared minus km plus c. So if you compare these two equations, or these two expressions rather, then if this is equal to this, it means that the value for k is equal to 2. And then the value for c. Now you have to be very careful with it. You see, this is minus 2 minus k. So k can afford to be 2 here, and that's correct. But this is minus 3, and this is plus c. So c cannot just be 3. C is minus 3. Why? Because minus times plus, it's minus. Here, minus times minus, it's plus. So that's the value for k and c. Now, I may not be able to talk about quadratic formula used in solving quadratic equation, but I can show you how to derive the formula in this video. Remember, the general form of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now, I can apply completing the square method to this quadratic equation and get the quadratic formula. Now here, the coefficient of x squared is a. So like I said, before you can apply completely the square method, your coefficient of x squared must be 1. So how do you make here 1? You divide through by a. I'm going to share this so that it will be enough for me to solve. If I do that, I'm going to have a will cancel a, x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equal to 0. So here, the coefficient of x squared, it's 1. So we can now apply our completing the square method and solving this. Remember the first thing you do? X squared plus b over ax. Take this to the right-hand side of the equation and become minus c over a. That's the first step. Remember the second step? Take half the coefficient of x, add it to both sides, and square it. So what is half of b divide a? Half of it, it's x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a all squared. And that's what you also add to the other side, minus c. Sorry, I had to economize this so that it will be enough for me. B divide 2a, and then you square it. So I have to adjust the solution. And this becomes x squared. Let me rewrite it again. And this is b squared. 2 squared is 4, then a squared. Oh, I'm supposed to leave this the way it is. Sorry, I don't want to write it out. So let me write it back. Let me still maintain the square. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. So don't touch this, please. Leave it the way it is. Don't touch it. Equal to, so let me rewrite this as c and then plus b over 2a or square. I think it enters now. Okay, good. And there's a reason why. So if I'm going to write the left-hand side, I think I have enough space here now. So it's going to be x plus b over 2a all squared. Yeah, you don't need to expand it. That's what we've been doing. So don't expand this yet. But you're free to expand your right-hand side, minus c over a. So I can expand to be b squared, square everything there. 2a squared will be 4a squared. Good. So you are free to expand the right-hand side, but don't expand the left-hand side. Now, you will know the reason why as we solve on. And this is LCM, 4a squared. 4a squared divide a is 4a times minus c minus 4ac. And 4a squared divided 4a squared is 1 plus b squared, and that gives you plus b squared. So this is x plus b divided 2a all squared. I can rearrange this to be b squared minus 4ac divide 4a squared. So let's take away the square from here. So it becomes x plus b over 2a. You introduce your plus or minus, then your square root. Good. So the formula is coming out now. Divide 4a squared. So at this point, you have to be careful. Now let's take this to the right hand side. It becomes minus b over 2a plus or minus. I cannot square the numerator, so I'll retain the square at the numerator. So it becomes b squared minus 4ac. Okay, divide. I can square 4, square root of 4. Sorry, I can look for the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, and square root of a squared is a. So this will give you see, here the LCM is 2a minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. So this is the general formula for solving. This is the quadratic formula for also solving quadratic equation. Let me neatly write it out. B squared minus 4ac all divided a. So you can also use this formula to solve the first two questions we've solved, and you get the same answer. So this is how to derive it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Remember to subscribe, like my video, and share your comment with me. Tell me how you feel about my videos. Thank you.